Coming up on the paper talk today, we're going to have to talk about the Newcastle game because there's a reaction from the Newcastle game. The manager obviously spoke after the game. He let us know his thoughts on what he's going to do about the goalkeeping situation. Nothing's been cleared up there, has it? By playing Altay Bayindir, who didn't have the best game, if I'm being kind. He had a complete stinker, if I'm not being very kind. Well, we'll get into that as well and let you know what the manager said about that one. Also, what's happening with Joshua Zirkzee? He's out. How long is he going to be out for? The manager gave us a little bit of an update on that. Also, Bruno Fernandes has been speaking about his frustrations. So there is a little bit of doom and gloom. Plus, we've been linked with a Lyon attacker, a Lyon winger. Well, obviously, we're facing Lyon on Thursday. That is what the season is all about now. That big game on Thursday night here at Old Trafford for the Europa League quarter-final second leg. And we're already being linked with our players. So we'll be getting into all that. So let's do it then. Let's get into it. Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is the paper talk. As you can see, I'm outside Old Trafford and it's actually pretty cold even though it's sunny, so you might need your parkers on today. Loads of stories to get through, so we'll crack on. Most of them focusing on the morning after the night before. Manchester United losing 4-1 at St James's Park. Before we get into all that though, make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. We want to get to 800,000 subscribers, and with your support, yes, we can get there. Right, where do you start? I mean, I don't want to sort of go over old news or make you all feel in a bad mood on a Monday morning. I'm sure you've all dissected the game. We had the reaction yesterday from myself, from Joe, from Stephen Alson, from Andy Tate. We know that Manchester United were very poor, but a lot of the news this morning is focusing on that, focusing on the reaction from the manager, of course, and from some of the players. Bruno Fernandes spoke to Sky Sports and he spoke about how he can get a little bit frustrated with some of the United players because he knows what they can do and how much they want to win and that kind of thing. Some people criticise Bruno Fernandes, some people say he doesn't step up. I'm of the other opinion. I think he's one of the few bright sparks we've got in this team and he always tries to make things happen. He's always available and I think it's his teammates more often than not that let him down, not him, or let the team down I should say, not him himself. I think if it wasn't for Bruno Fernandes, we'd be in serious trouble. We're already in serious trouble, but I think we'd be in a lot worse trouble if it wasn't for Bruno Fernandes. And I know some people get rubbed up the wrong way by his actions, but I get it. He wants to win and he wants his teammates to perform to this high standards he sets, and sometimes that frustration can show itself, but you can't have it both ways. You can't have someone who's got high standards and does get frustrated when those standards aren't met and then moan about him having those high standards and then moan about the fact the club is near the bottom end of the table. I mean, which way do you want it? Do you want him to just go, okay, Celavi, we're rubbish, it's fine, let's all just play really badly, don't worry about it. On the goalkeeping front, Ruben Amorim was pretty non-committal after the game. He was asked about it and he sort of said, you'll see, basically. You'll see he's starting 11 for the Lyon game. People asking him whether it's going to be, or wondering whether it's going to be Altay Bayindir or it's going to be Andre Onana. Altay Bayindir did not cover himself in glory yesterday. Let's be brutally honest about it. Now, Ruben Amorim spoke ahead of the game and he said how he'd taken Andre Onana out of the squad just so he was disconnected. To sort of disconnect him, I think he said, from the team and from the match and from everything that was going on. I think he used the word disconnect. Now, is he going to be back in the team on Thursday? I think he probably will be. I think Altay Bayindir now, if you look at it, you can go, okay, Andre Onana had a bit of a stinker in Lyon, but Altay Bayindir had a bit of a stinker at St James's Park. He's played how many games this season? Is it about 3 games? Had a poor game against Spurs, had a decent one against Arsenal, and had a poor one against Newcastle. Forgive me if I'm missing some games, he might have played a few more, but the fact is he hasn't covered himself in glory and he hasn't played that many games, and he's out of the last 3 games I can think of, 2 of those have been pretty poor. Now you might think Andre Onana's had some bad games, and he has, but he's played a lot more games than Altay Bayindir and he's had a lot more good games than Altay Bayindir, and I think it'd be a bigger risk for me personally. I think if the manager stuck with Bayindir, and I think Andre Onana is more likely to come back into the team. Let me know what you think. Get involved in the chat in the comments because it's not an easy one. I don't think it's obvious that you go, okay, they're both brilliant, or one of them's brilliant, one of them's really poor, we'll go with the one who's brilliant. But it does feel like it'd be a safer bet to play the goalkeeper who's played 95% of the games or whatever it is this season, despite him having a difficult game against Lyon. And let's not forget as well, whilst I've been very critical of Andre Onana this season, he has had some decent games. I mean, with people looking at him going, before the Lyon game, he's actually on a decent run. However, that performance in France sort of undermined it. Just on Lyon as well. There's some stories in the news this morning. I think I've seen these doing the rounds for the last couple of days in the Mirror, and I think the Mail have picked up on it today, that we have been linked with Rayan Cherki again. I think he's available, the Lyon winger, obviously he scored against us, available for around 20 million quid. Manchester United could be in for him. I think we spoke to Nathan Sol about him, and he says he's a very good player, but he doesn't know if he'll fit into Ruben Amorim's system just because of his work rate. His work rate isn't the best, although he's very good on the ball, he's very skillful. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. 20 million quid's not to be sniffed at. That's a relatively cheap price in modern day football. Maybe that makes him a little bit more attractive. What is he, 21 years old? Relatively young. So one to keep an eye on. Obviously, if he has another good performance against Manchester United in the second leg, then the rumours and the reports that we're in for him are just going to gather even more momentum. I'm hoping he has a stinker, to be honest with you, regardless of whether Manchester United are in for him or not. We don't want him playing well on Thursday night. Just another positive story, or one positive story, I don't think another one, we haven't had one yet. Ruben Amorim praised Harry Hamas for his performance at St James's, and rightly so. He said he played really, really well, and I think he did. I think he almost went under the radar because everyone was so angry and disappointed with the overall performance of the team. But you've got to give credit to Harry Hamas making his full debut, acquitting himself very well in a difficult ground against a very strong team as well. So hopefully we'll see him a lot more. Just turned 18 as well. Good performance from Harry Hamas, someone we spoke to on the tour. Great to see him playing so well. Other news as well. There's another data analyst joining the club, apparently Michael Sansoni, who's from Mercedes in the F1. He's going to join the club as a data analyst as part of the backroom staff. That was being reported in the Daily Mail. Whoop-de-doo. But I don't mean to be too dismissive. Hopefully this can help us. It's not something you get majorly excited about though, is it? A data analyst joining the club. You want to see signings. I know we can't have them yet because we're not in the transfer window, but one to keep an eye on. Just a bit of news I'm letting you know about. A bit of more positive news, though, is Manchester United women getting to the FA Cup final for the third successive year, doing what the men's team couldn't. We couldn't do 3 in a row in terms of finals, but they've done it. A 2-0 win over Manchester City as well. Always good to see that. So well done to Mark Skinner's team, and hopefully they can go on and lift the trophy. So, bit of a deflating weekend, wasn't it? With one's bright spark with the Manchester United women's team beating Manchester City to get to the final. But a lot of decisions for Ruben Amorim to make. What's he going to do about the goalkeeper? He also spoke about Joshua Zirkzee. We know Joshua Zirkzee. He spoke about after the game. He's out. He's not going to play on Thursday. We saw him pull up with what looked like a hamstring injury, so he's going to be out. Does that mean that he's going to play Rasmus Højlund? That would be the obvious decision. Maybe he goes with Bruno Fernandes as a false 9, like we did in the FA Cup final. Some big decisions for Ruben Amorim to make. What's he going to do with the goalkeeper situation as well? Bit of a tough one. We're going to have more updates during the week. We'll have more injury updates as well. See which players are fit, which players are going to be available for that big game on Thursday, because we know Thursday is it. That is the season right there. If we lose on Thursday, the season is effectively over. The highest place we're likely to get this season is going to be about, what, 12th in the Premier League? I think we're too far ahead of Ipswich to relegation to even be a thing, so I don't think that's going to happen. But in terms of the league position, it's just so embarrassing, isn't it, what's going on there? It's all about the Europa League. That's the only trophy we can win, and that's also our only route, not just into Champions League football, but into European football as well. So all eyes on Thursday. Going to leave it there. Make sure, if you're not doing already, you are hitting like, share and subscribe. We're going to be back later on with the Paddock podcast. I've been Jay Martin. This has been the Paper Talk. Thanks for watching.